Today we're going to meet up with Bradford Smith. He is a dedicated cyclist and somewhat of an anomaly. He does these very aggressive, intense rides. He's a hardcore competitive cyclist, but at the same time, off of the bike, he's one of the most pleasant and positive people you've ever met.
I didn't win, but I rode well.
Hopefully those things can help us on our journeys. So enjoy this episode on Bradford Smith.
I feel very fortunate that there's been a few things in life where these little things of not being afraid to explore the unknown. I did this because of this, I did this because of this, and this led to this. Don't necessarily know where that comes from, but I'm really excited that it's led me here. So I just added small tacks in a couple different places, basically to hold the chainstays onto the bottom bracket. And I'm gonna pull it out of the jig right now and check it with a wheel, check the alignment. This is the home of Speedwagon bicycles. I've been building bikes for 13 years. The thought of what a bike is, or what I want it to do, or how it's feeling, or how it looks, I think about those things while I'm riding. Trying to look at it in a different way where, what is the form, what is the function? And one of the nice things about working at this shop is that's sort of always been an idea of how do we make something simple but elegant. When I was a kid, I used to ride a BMX bike to school, start going through the woods, and that was really fun. And then we'd start to, ride downtown, and we didn't tell anybody. So we kind of always push ourselves a little bit further, and sort of constantly discovering things. So I did a trip with a bunch of buddies across country driving. And on that trip, for some reason, I was like, this would be really fun to do on a bicycle. Just to ride, explore, go through all these small little towns.
Did you do that trip?
Oh yeah, twice. I toured it and then I raced it.
You raced across the country?
So it took 24 days. I just really enjoyed riding my bike, and I wanted to push myself and see what I was capable of. My relationship to discomfort. I feel like I have a very high tolerance, and I think that a lot of that has to do with the mental side of things. Positive mental attitude basically goes a long way. Some people feel they have to wake up and think positive things, where I don't necessarily think I do that, but the idea of knowing that there can be positive within something is pretty powerful. I haven't hit my breaking point, I guess, and definitely with endurance cycling and different conditions, weather or terrain. It's kind of the curiosity of how much further can I go, or what can I endure? If something arises, am I in a clear head? Can I troubleshoot or navigate what I need to do? To me personally, I like that side of troubleshooting, of not knowing what's going to happen, but feeling capable of figuring it out and keeping a level head. Taking that second to not try and hit it brute force, but to actually just sit back, take a breath, think about it, let it sit in, look at it from a different angle, and sort of be like, oh, okay, I'm in a clear head now, right? I can move forward in a smooth way. My relationship to competition, I think, is very personal. I feel like I always look at it as there is a way. If somebody's doing this, if they're competing at a high level, there's a way. They're doing it. So how can I do it? I think that I bring that thought and positivity, I'd say, into each competition that I go to. I try and be personally prepped and ready and in control. A friend of mine used to say, and I still think about this every time, the 6 Ps. Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. I like to think that, I've already won if I'm ready to go and fine with, this weird weather, where somebody else next to me is there shivering and they're expending all this energy because they're bummed. And so that attitude is completely different, right? And they don't want to be there. They're bummed that it's raining. They're bummed that it's wet. They don't want to put in effort. They don't want to do more than they need to, right? And so that excitement, that energy, I get to thrive off that a little bit more. I know my equipment's styled. I know that I'm going to be wet, so I warmed up and I'm ready to go. I'm hydrated. Everything else is just whatever comes. In the regards of cycling, the biggest impact, I'd probably say cyclocross. The community around that has been unbelievable. I started racing cross in, I'd probably say 2012 in Massachusetts. I entered the Cat 4 race. There was 150 people in it, and I was on a single speed, and everybody else had gears, and we were all trying to figure it out together, and it was so much fun. Just the amount of that race, starting from the back because I had never done one before, and the amount of people that we hugged at the end and became friends and still are friends now was unbelievable. It was great.
Of chunk.
Man, bikes are cool.
Yeah, dude, bikes are cool.
I should get a bike again.
Duh.
I don't even know where to go to get a bike.
Good luck with that.
It's just that I can't bring myself to participate in the capitalist rat race, the unrelenting need for social status through the purchase of new items, which will ultimately lead to the death of our planet.
That means you're looking at Craigslist.
Yeah, there's just so many scams, and I don't want to buy somebody else's project.
Oh, you want the pros closet.
I just need something that's been inspected, it's ready to go, certified. But still pre-owned and delivered to my house, because I don't drive.
Dude, that's what I'm telling you. The pros closet has what you're looking for.
I really need a large selection of bikes to pick from because I am interested in all the bikes.
Bruh, check out theproscloset.com, the world's largest online retailer of certified pre-owned bikes.
If something like that existed, that would probably be God's gift to the internet.
Why can't you hear me? Why aren't you listening?
God's gift to the internet.
Were you ever a bike messenger?
I was in Australia. I was working in a bike shop in California. This kid would always come in and he was from Australia. For some weird reason, I got it in my head that I wanted to go tour in Australia. Probably chatting with him about it one day and he's like, oh, if you ever go, call my parents. They got a place for you to stay, I'm like, okay. And so probably within a month, where do your parents live? I got a flight. Flew to Australia. I had a working visa. And so zero plans but to bring my touring bike. Got off the plane, rode into Brisbane, probably stopped to get some mango at a market, and this guy rides by, and he comes back, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, no real plans. He's like, oh, I'm moving out of town, but, I'm a bike messenger here in town, and having a big party, tomorrow night, you should come by. I was like, okay. And so within, 24 hours, basically meet the whole messenger community in Brisbane, and got a place to stay, figured out work. So I ended up staying in Australia for 7 months. Just traveling around, working a little bit here and there. It was unbelievable. 2009. Yeah. It was wild.
Is this for the race tomorrow?
That is. So racing single speed, you got one chance of getting the gear right. And tends to never be right. No matter what you do, you got to run what you brung. So I am going to bring a couple different chain rings, a couple different cogs, try and do a pre-ride, and then go from there. I'd say that's a wrap.